Hello guys, Dan here from Dan's Tech, and in today's video guys we're going to be having a look at the Cooler Master Hyper 212 EVO. Now I did purchase this cooler a full 3 years ago, and I didn't make a review on it, simply because my channel didn't really focus on, say, computer hardware back then. This is an extremely popular cooler, and if anything, on Amazon this is the most purchased CPU cooler. I'm pretty sure there's many reviews of this on YouTube already and all over the internet, and especially on Amazon UK and .com. I don't really care. Fact is, I'm going to be having a look at this cooler, going to be mounting it on my i7 4790K, see how it performs, see what the noise levels are like, see what the installation is like, and yeah, and kind of come to a final conclusion. This isn't exactly one of the biggest coolers in the world. It is quite small. However, it does feature a 120mm fan that is supposedly supposed to be very quiet. And yeah, without further ado, we're going to check this cooler out and see how it performs. To get started, as always, as for a brief unboxing, inside the box on top we found a user manual and warranty information. Inside the wide accessory box we found all the needed mounting hardware for both AMD and Intel platforms. This box contains all the needed screws and bolts to install the cooler, in addition to a small syringe of thermal compound, a metal mounting bracket, and finally 2 fan brackets for installation of an additional fan. In addition to this small box, you do also get the cooler itself with a 120mm fan attached, with the metal backplate held on the reverse of the plastic packaging. Onto the cooler itself, the cooler's design is an average height single tower cooler. The cooler features 4 copper heat pipes with Cooler Master's continuous direct contact technology. This creates a virtual vapor chamber and removes the need for an additional slab of aluminium at the base. The aluminium tower features many aluminium fins with 6 copper heat pipes passing very evenly through the fin stack. The overall dimensions of the unit are 159mm in height, 120mm in width, and 80mm in depth. With the fan attached, the total weight of the cooler is quite light at 465 grams. Build quality of the cooler overall is good and looks a quality product for the price. RAM clearance shouldn't really be an issue with this cooler, however it is possible to raise the fan a little if needed. Moving on to the included fan and its specs, the included fan is a 120mm fan as mentioned. The rated RPM of the fan is between 600 to 2000 or 600 to 1600 for the European version, of which this unit is, as I'm in the UK. Now the connector type is of course a 4-pin PWM connector and allows your motherboard's BIOS to control the speeds based on CPU temperature. Rated noise levels are between 9 to 36 decibels or lowered to 31 decibels maximum for the altered version in Europe. Moving on to the installation of the Hyper 212 EVO, the installation of course starts with removing your old cooler and placing the included backplate under your board and placing the metal standoffs through that and the CPU socket holes. I found to make installation less of a pain, it is better to remove your board from the case and install the nuts this way. Now I will always forever get frustrated if I need to remove the board from the test bench, however this wasn't that bad as the rest of the installation is pretty damn easy. Now once you've tightened all of them with a screwdriver, you can then install the motherboard back into your case and apply the thermal compound to the CPU. Next up is installing the retention module to the cooler and adjusting the 4 pins and screws according to the CPU socket you're using. Last up is placing the cooler onto the CPU and tightening the 4 screws in an even fashion and then attaching the fan. Talking about attaching the fan, this is relatively easy thanks to the plastic clips. One thing I noticed and believe I should bring up is that after screwing all the screws down as tight as they could go, the cooler still did have some play and could be twisted while secured on the CPU. To me, if this is intentional, it seems like a poor mounting mechanism and I'm quite disappointed. This really needs some work. Moving swiftly on to the performance, testing this cooler on my i7 4790K with all 8 threads at 4.4 GHz with the automatic voltage of 1.25 volts, this cooler was able to keep the chip at quite a warm running 76 degrees, with the one stock fan running at a normal PWM setting. Overall I believe this is quite good when you consider what some of the higher end coolers on this chart were achieving. One cooler I want to mention is the Fortis 3 from Silentium PC. Now the 212 EVO did very well with the overclock, however the Fortis 3 is quite a lot better with a very similar price tag. Albeit the 212 EVO is a smaller cooler with a smaller fan, I do expect it to suit many more scenarios and thought this did indeed need mentioning as this seems a better cooler for the money. The noise levels are expected to be not very quiet, and to be honest, at a 4.4 GHz overclock it does make this cooler one of the loudest I have tested at load. Although I don't have temperature tests at stock, this cooler was a lot quieter at stock speeds. Anyhow, let's conclude on this 212 EVO from Cooler Master and let me share with you my final thoughts. So guys, that are my findings on this Hyper 212 EVO. Now, from this review, one thing that you've got to remember is that this isn't a very big cooler. It does only feature the 4 heat pipes, but regardless, I do think it has done incredibly well. Now, as you've seen, it isn't the best performing cooler. The Reven Okanos does still hold that kind of title, but this is a brilliant cooler for the money. You've got to remember, this is only about £27, including delivery here in the UK, and I'm pretty sure in the States it's probably going to be cheaper, since everything computer hardware wise does seem to be cheaper in the States. But yeah, this cooler is brilliant. Would definitely recommend it. The installation's not bad, but as you've seen from the performance, it is a pretty damn good cooler for the money. And if you're going to be, say, upgrading from a stock cooler, this is a fantastic option. As I said, it's only about £27, which is fantastic value for money. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. If you guys do want to pick up the 212 EVO, you find Amazon UK and US links in the description. And in general guys, if you've enjoyed the video, do feel free to click that good old like button. And if you have any comments or questions, you know where to post them. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.